Have you seen this house? Just yesterday it was sitting here in Hollywood minding its own business when all of a sudden, well, you'll see what happened to it in just a minute.
And here you are, the stunts you asked to see again, proving that people are funny.
Ooh, people are funny.
Presented by Papermate.
Papermate pens are leak-proof. Use a Papermate pen. Papermate ink is smear-proof. Use a Papermate pen. And starring parts, Linkletter.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree with me that tonight we're presenting the most complicated, the most fantastic, and the biggest stunt we have ever pulled. Now, to give you a little background on this before I bring out our unsuspecting guests, let me explain that on many People Are Funny stunts, our staff starts working as long as 5 and 6 months before you actually see the stunt on the air. Now, take this one, for example. Months ago, we made preparations to lease a particular house, a regular full house with a lawn and everything that goes with a Hollywood bungalow nearby, within a mile. We furnished this completely by the Lion Furniture Sales and advertised it in the newspaper for rent. One of our staff set himself up as a real estate renter and showed people through the house until he found a nice, likely young couple who looked like their heart could stand a lot of strain and that they were pretty good Joes as far as a joke was concerned. We found these people, and they turned out to be Mr. and Mrs. Hunter. Now, we found that she works at the Broadway department store downtown. We, a few days ago, sent a special Hollywood photographer, Sid Avery, one of our top photographers, down to the Broadway, where he photographed at random a number of people who worked in the store. She was subsequently told that she had won a special prize as a trip to San Francisco for her and her husband for a national magazine. 2 days ago, they flew to San Francisco on this trip. We paid the entire bill. They don't know anything about it. Next, we brought them to the show tonight directly from the airport by announcing to them that it was the Broadway department store night at People Are Funny. And if you don't agree with me that this is one for the books, we'll give up. Mr. and Mrs. Hunter. Now remember the name. It's a very good name for this stunt. House Hunters. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of guests, and oh, here come our first 2 guests. How do you do? Would you come right out here, please? And Mr. Hunter, would you stand on the other side of your wife? I presume this is Mr.
Mrs. Hunter.
Mrs. what Hunter?
Ruth.
And Mr.?
Ray Hunter.
What do you do, Ray, for a living?
I work for Douglas.
And what do you do, Miss Hunter?
I work at the Broadway.
What do you do down there at the store?
I'm an authorizer.
You have no children, Mr. Hunter?
No, none.
How'd you happen to come here to the show tonight? I'm always curious to know that.
Well, the photographer brought us here. We're on a mad whirl, and I'm still on it.
Oh, what kind of a whirl is that?
Well, we had a free vacation in Frisco, and...
San Francisco?
Yeah.
People are funny in Frisco. They like it to be called San Francisco.
We just got off the plane and came straight here.
Oh, I see. You've been up?
Home yet.
Well, now, this is the idea for your stunt on People Are Funny. We find that most people are not as observant as they should be. For example, we picked you because you have a house. You don't live in an apartment?
No.
Now, I'll tell you what I'll do. Here are 10 $10 bills. $100. Could you use this?
Uh-huh.
Mr. Hunter, I'll let you hold it as the head of the house. Now, it's not yours. I'm just letting you hold it. Make a guess between you. How many windows in your house?
Oh, gee.
Say 18.
18. Do you want to agree with that?
12.
12. We'll get together. We got to have one answer.
Compromise on 16.
16.
Okay.
16 windows. Now, Mr. Irv Atkins is going to drive you to your house. It's within a mile or 2 of here. And when you get there, you're going to count the windows. For every window less or more than 16, we're going to take away one of those $10 bills. So good luck to you, Hunters.
Thank you very much.
On your way, and we'll see you at the end of the program. Say goodbye to them, audience. Seems like a simple little stunt, doesn't it? Do you know what we did? We stole the house. The whole house is gone. The The Rogers Moving Company, one of those tremendous companies that puts the big beams under the house, came in while they were in San Francisco, took the whole thing away, and when they get there, all that's be sticking up is pipes and the foundation, their clothes, everything is gone. We are going to give them a contest to try to find that house under conditions that I think you'll find very amusing and very intriguing. Wait till you see what happens next. And now let's welcome back that wonderful girl who sings of sunshine after rain.
White rain, use new white rain shampoo tonight. Tomorrow your hair will be sunshine bright. White rain.
And she's so right, because White Rain is a lotion shampoo. Gentle as rainwater, its rich suds are rainwater soft. Give rainwater clean rinsing, leave hair sunshine bright. Sparkling like this, sunny and soft as a June morning. Am I right?
Yes, White Rain is wonderful.
You bet it is. So girls, put sunshine in your hair with White Rain lotion shampoo.
We're looking for the world's most bashful man. Must be young and secretly in love with girl he's never met.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Those were the words given to our People Are Funny Scouts at one of our meetings about 2 months ago. And it's taken that long to find the kind of a man in the kind of a situation we thought you'd like to see and hear about. And so very recently, we discovered a man who is bashful, who is in love, and who has never had the nerve to meet the girl that he's been admiring from afar. Let's meet him first and find out how the plot unfolds. He's a tall 6-footer, about aged...
23.
23, and his name is Mr. Coy Cook. Coy, where are you from originally?
Oh, originally North Carolina, Art.
A little louder?
North Carolina.
And then you moved to?
Texas.
And now what are you doing?
I'm going to school at UCLA now.
What are you studying at UCLA?
Business administration.
Yeah, you're a good-looking fellow, but you're a little bashful?
Slightly, yeah.
Uh-huh. And this girl that you admire from a distance, where did you first see her?
Well, she was an activities counselor the day I registered, and I had to talk to her for a minute or two.
Yeah. Why haven't you introduced yourself and asked her for a date?
Well, she's a mighty popular girl, and I just don't have the nerve to do it.
And you don't know anybody that she knows particularly, huh?
No, I don't.
Uh-huh. Now, here's where we're going to help you accomplish what you have been unable to accomplish so far. And I want you to name your first child after me. But you're going to meet this girl and get a chance to know her. We're going to send you back to a reserved seat up the aisle. And when I bring her out, I'm going to ask her about dates and romance. I'm going to ask for some raise of hands in the audience. And when you put your hand up, I'm going to pick you, apparently, just at random. Then you come up, and I'm going to put you through a little personality matching test. And this is the chance to impress her. You in it? Oh, you're in. Now, you're going back there and sit down. Yes, the subject of romance is an interesting subject. People are funny about young love and about boys and girls who are falling in love or going steady. And in schools, above all other places, the subject of romance is of great importance. And our guest tonight is Miss Jean Deether. How do you do, Jean? You've been invited here from the University of California at Los Angeles.
Yes, that's right.
And what is your official position there?
I'm a vice president of the student body.
Now, we understand that you are not engaged.
That's right.
And you don't go steady.
No.
Uh-huh. And you don't know why you're down here.
No, I have the vaguest idea. I've been cooped up in the back.
Uh-huh. Well, we want you to appear on our show tonight because we are interested in seeing whether or not a first attraction of meeting somebody at the first time and possibly going on a date can have any influence on a girl such as yourself, who is intelligent and has a fine background and who is capable of making up her own mind. Now, isn't that interesting?
Sounds like a fine idea.
Now, if we have a whole audience full of men here, and we have a number of single men, and we're just going to see if Cupid, by chance, will unleash an arrow that will mean something. It's kind of fun, huh? Have you ever had a blind date?
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of like a blind date. Would you turn the lights on, boys, and would you let me see the hands of the single man? Let's see all the men. Let's look out over. There's a fellow. How old are you down here? 27. Back there in the aisle, how old are you? 23. The fellow in the blue suit? 23. How old are you?
21.
23 sounds like a good age.
Yeah.
We had 2 23s and 1 27 and 1 68 volunteer. And also 1 42. Let's have the let's have the fellow who is 23. Would you come up? The fellow with the dark blue suit. He's a pretty good-looking fellow, isn't he? Yeah. Would you stand right over here next to Miss Diether? You are
Coy Cook.
Miss Diether, Mr. Coy Cook.
Hello, Coy.
You want to shake
Oh,
hands?
thank you.
Good to see you.
Stand up here. They make a good-looking couple standing here. I did a pretty good job of picking.
Yeah, where'd you find him?
Well, right up there in the aisle. You wouldn't think you could find such a good selection out of a whole studio, would you?
No.
Let's sit down right here. Make ourselves comfortable. It's kind of crowded here. Coy, would you put your arm up around the back here? That's fine. Now, if everything works out right, I'll tell you what we'll do on People Are Funny. We'll send you two out with a chauffeur-driven limousine and down to the Coconut Grove at the Ambassador Hotel and pay all expenses and see that you have a wonderful time, if it works out. But you don't have to go if you don't want to, right?
Okay, okay.
All right, Miss Diether and Mr. Cook, I am going to see if you are correctly matched, first of all. This is all psychological, you know. It's based on a lot of field research on my part for years. Any night I can get out. Miss Diether, how tall are you?
5'7".
And Mr. Cook, how tall do you think your ideal girl would be?
I think about 5'7".
Very interesting. How tall are you?
6 feet.
What do you think about size of fellas?
Well, 6 feet's pretty good.
You never know what you're going to find in an audience. It's just amazing to me. What about the color of the ideal man's hair, Miss Diether, for you?
Oh, tall and dark.
And what are you?
Oh, I'm kind of partial to blondes.
Yeah. And I notice you're tall and dark. Uh-huh. That is your own shade, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now, what is your favorite sport for fun, Joan? What do you like to do? You an indoor girl, an outdoor girl?
Oh, kind of an outdoor girl.
Uh-huh. Like what sport do you like?
Swimming.
And what about you?
Oh, I'm a great swimmer.
You like to swim?
I love to swim.
Now, look, I don't want you to press, Mr. Cook, because you and Miss Diether are just meeting for the first time, and I don't want you to tell me anything that isn't true. What would you say would be the ideal size family? I don't want to rush you now.
Just a minute.
If you were going to get married, I don't say to Mr. Cook, but to somebody.
Oh, about 4, I think.
4 children.
About 4.
What do you think?
Well, if I could support them, I'd like to have 4, too.
How much do you think a man should make before he gets married, Miss Cook?
Oh, enough to take care of 4 children.
How much do you make, Mr. Cook?
Not very much right now.
You don't make much money. Well, you two are pretty well matched. You got to admit that I'm a pretty good matchmaker?
Yeah, I should say.
Uh-huh. You know, it's such a good match that it seems to me that the whole thing's a little fishy, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Huh? Does it seem a little fishy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a little confession to make.
Mm-hmm.
You, Miss Diether, have been framed slightly.
Yeah.
Mr. Coy Cook might be just another guy to you. But as far as he's concerned, and you are just learning this for the first time, you are the girl of his dreams.
Can you say that too?
would say that right now Mr. Cook looks something like the stoplight at Hollywood and Vine. Now, this is exactly what happened, Miss Diether. Mr. Coy Cook also goes to UCLA. He's an ex-GI, he's only a sophomore, and he saw you at one of the class activities, and we found out that he has not had the nerve to get acquainted with you, but he's been kind of watching you. And we thought that everybody all over the nation would love to see two handsome, attractive, talented young people get acquainted, and so we brought you together this way.
Gee, that was great of you.
I thought so. How do you feel about it, Coy?
I think it's pretty wonderful.
Well, now, we're going to see that you get on a date at Coconut Grove, and remember, all great romances had to start someplace. And, I have something that might help in case things get dull during the evening. Here's one of our People Are Funny games for each of you. And if you can't think of a better game than this, I've lost confidence in you. But at any rate, we also have for our very charming little lady a bottle of Lanvin perfume by Arpège. You know where to look for it, Coy. And just for a little extra fun, since we now have the two of you acquainted and you have something to talk about, we want you to have for your trousseau, for your eventual wedding, a beautiful, completely automatic Westinghouse dryer. You can be sure if it's a Westinghouse. And Mr. Cook, we want you to have a Westinghouse washer. Now, in other words, you already have twins, the Westinghouse washer and dryer. What does an unmarried man do if he has a washer, Mr. Cook?
Try to find a dryer to go with it, I suppose.
That's right. And if you two don't get married now with this wonderful start, the least you can do is to open a cooperative laundry. Goodbye. Weren't they fun? Say, have you ever seen these guys who carry around a pocket full of pens like this? They never have to worry about running out of ink. But if you're like me, you only carry around one pen. But I don't have to worry about running out of ink either, because I've got the new Papermate Capri with a built-in spare refill. You see, the beautiful new Papermate is the only pen with a built-in spare refill. And we call this amazing new refill the piggyback refill. This giant model will show you it's really two refills in one on top of the other, sort of piggyback. Now you get 2 points, 2 ink supplies in one astonishing pen. So now if you damage the point or run out of ink, you just take out the piggyback refill, you pull it apart, you see it has 2 points, both with the exclusive silvered tip, and 2 ink supplies. And when the first one runs out, you just reverse the sections like this, replace the refill, and you are ready to write again. See? Now, this amazing piggyback refill is featured only in the new Papermate Capri that costs just $1.95. So you buy a new Papermate Capri, the only pen with a built-in spare refill. At the beginning of the program, you will recall we sent out a very happy, gay, innocent young couple, Mr. and Mrs. Hunter, to see if they were observant. We'd given them $100 to go home with a house a mile from here to count the number of windows in the house and see if they were right about the number of windows they guessed were in the house. Now remember, we told you, no house. We had stolen it, but they didn't know anything about it. So let's bring them back, find out their reaction and what happened. Mr. and Mrs. Hunter, come on in. Mrs. Hunter, you look mad.
Well, I don't have any windows. There's no house there, and it's not my house. I only rent it.
You rent it, and it's gone?
Yes, and it's the first time in my life I ever had a fireplace, and there's nothing there.
It's gone. How do you feel?
It's like it, I don't know.
It's kind of funny, isn't it? Mr. Hunter, what was your reaction?
You walk up to the house and it isn't there. We had a little puppy dog and it was gone
Yeah,
too.
where's my dog? Where, please, my dog and my girlfriend.
Your dog and your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, in other words, your house, your personal belongings, well...
Everything.
Everything's gone.
Pile of bricks and
There's just
dirt.
a pile of bricks there. There's a vacant lot between the houses?
Yes. I thought it was the house next door was ours, and that you just tore another house down thinking that we'd think that that was our house. But it really was our house.
You thought we'd tear another house down to frighten you?
Well,
Actually, do you suspect me of being in on this?
naturally, somebody.
You don't suppose for a minute that we went to all the trouble of getting you both off of work without knowing it, and we sent you all the way to San Francisco?
You did? You did?
I did. I was the guy who hired the photographer.
Sid?
Huh?
You did.
Until I get a hold of Sid.
Sid Avery is the photographer. He is a national photographer and a
Yeah,
top one.
I
But
know
we
that.
paid him, not a magazine.
I had no idea whatsoever.
Didn't we go to a lot of trouble?
Oh, you sure
And
did.
Mrs. Hunter, are these checks familiar to you?
Oh, those are my. Oh, let's see. Yeah.
Those are your checks?
Yeah.
You know how I got them?
No.
I rented you the house.
I don't believe that. Oh, you did. It wasn't that. Oh, you didn't.
My man rented you the house.
Lewis?
Mr. Lewis, who is really Mr. Shore, one of my writers, was the real estate agent.
That's why
I'll
we
be
couldn't.
darned. I tried to find out who the owner was and couldn't.
You couldn't find out the owner.
He thought
I'm
there
the
was
owner.
He thought there was something phony because I didn't have a real estate company, a name of a real estate company to give him, and well, Mr. Lewis rented me the house, and I wanted the house, and I didn't care.
Did you like the house?
Yes, I did.
It's the first house you've ever had together as a married couple?
Well, no, we had one once before, but it seemed like we'd never get one again.
Yeah, you'd been living in an apartment?
Yes.
And the rent was reasonable, wasn't it?
Well, it was a little high, but we could afford it.
A little high. You see these two checks of yours?
Oh, I was.
Well, that's the end of the stunt. We've got your money. Good night.
The house, though.
The house?
The dog, my girlfriend.
Did you ask anybody where the house went?
Yes.
Did you ask the neighbors?
No.
No.
You didn't ask? Did you phone the Los Angeles Bureau of Missing Houses?
Well, we didn't have a chance.
Oh, your girlfriend,
Burl.
Burl.
Yeah.
And your dog.
Penny.
Which one do you want back the most?
Both of them.
Well, now, this is an interesting thing. Let us tell you what happened. What's her name?
Burl.
Burl. Burl. Oh, there's Burl, and there's your dog. Yeah, you hold her now. You hold her and go right back there to your little dot. Burl. This girl almost was the difference between our fiendish machinations succeeding and failing, because we didn't know when we sent you to San Francisco that you had a dog and that you'd have a dog sitter. So, what happened yesterday morning early?
Some man came to the house and said, "Lady, I'm going to move your house."
You didn't know anything about
No, I didn't know what was going on. And so I said, "You can't do that."
it. So they started putting stuff under.
Yeah, and my goodness, I hadn't even had my breakfast yet. And so I didn't know what to do, and I was going to call the police.
And this is where we were lucky. You didn't know where they were, did you?
Mm-mm.
You knew they were in San Francisco,
Yeah.
but if she had known the hotel you were in, she would have called and spilled the beans. 15 minutes later, one of our men got there and tipped you off, bought you off, paid you off. And besides, you hadn't had any chance to talk to her. Well, isn't this a kind of a cute stunt, Mr. Hunter?
Oh, it was a real one.
We really fooled you people.
Where are we going to sleep tonight?
Where are you going to sleep? You still have the ground out there. Tell you what we're going to do. You didn't find out how many windows. You got your dog back, and it's a cute little dog, and you got your cute little dog sitter back. Do you sit with married men? It's another stunt I'm thinking of. Now, back to this one. What we're going to do, we're going to send you over to the Hollywood Plaza Hotel, where we have a nice suite of rooms for you. All of your clothes and all of your personal effects are over there. And the object of this whole stunt is to see how ingenious and clever and unscrupulous you can be in finding your own house. Somewhere that house exists. We didn't tear the house down. Everything is as it is. Not a thing has been hurt, and that house is in Los Angeles. Now, if you can find out where the house is before the next show, and you can use any method you want. You can hire detectives, go to the police department, call not the FBI, we didn't take it across the state line. And if you can do that, and if you can find the house, Mr. Hunter and Mrs. Hunter, because we played this shocking trick on you, well, give me a picture of this. Do you see this home? That is a Midland home-style center house. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a family room or den, a fireplace, a built-in range, forced air heat, and lots of other wonderful features. Now, what we're going to do, if you can find your house, we will make the down payment on this home, and we will pay the monthly payments for 2 full years. And when you get to the end of those 2 full years, your monthly payments will be quite a bit less than the rent you were paying us, and a big down payment. And you can have the house in the Midland Manor in the San Fernando Valley, or the Midland La Mirada in La Mirada, or several other beautiful locations. Now, what do you think of this?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted? Well, now, don't forget, you can't have this unless you find your rented house.
All right.
You got any ideas?
Tell me where my car is at. My car's gone, too.
Your car.
Your car? That was the thing that the Rogers House people was telling me. There was some crunching noise as they moved the house to the left. I don't know where your car is, but I think you'll find the keys up in the apartment of the Hollywood Plaza Hotel and the directions as to where it is. So, goodbye. We'll be seeing you our next show, and thank you very much. Give them a nice send-off. There we go. Well, that's all for tonight. In a moment, I'll be back to introduce a ragged hobo. He's our guest of honor on the next show. How about a little sleight of hand to prove a point? Here we have a lipstick. Now you see it. Now you don't. Now that's what's been the trouble with lipsticks up to now. The disappearing act. They wouldn't stay on. You were always retouching. But no more of that with ViV. So long-lasting, it's called the Ever-Lovin' lipstick. It stays married to your lips. 2 types, ViV Soft Touch, the new 24-hour type, ViV Regular, creamy non-smear type, both in vivid summer-lovin' shades to give you what you've always wanted. Deep glowing, lasting color that doesn't fade or smear or disappear. Viv's color is for keeps, so you get ViV. Remember,
Ever-lovin' ViV stays married to your lips. You'll ever love your ever-lovin' ViV.
well, there he is. Shows you what a high-class program we have. But you see our next show and see how this gentleman might surprise you and somebody in particular right here in Hollywood. Good night.
Ooh, people are funny.
Next week, People Are Funny will be brought to you by New Creamy Prom, the first and only home permanent with homogenized waving cream.